Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 384. I hope everybody's having a good day. We had some fun this morning. Went to breakfast with a bunch of other friends here in Copper's Cove. Came back, finished my show prep, and now I am doing the podcast. I'm looking at my tablet. So for some reason, my tablet's like resetting on me and going to different episodes of the JP8 report. And like it reverted back. It was doing the morning brief. I'm like, what? I didn't tell it to do that. It's only supposed to do that if you're at the end of a podcast or something, right? But okay, hopefully everything's good to go now. All right. So welcome to the JP8 report. As we get started, let's see, we got people on board. That's good. You click the follow button if you have not already followed the JP8 report, and then click that like button, a thumbs up for a like for the show, and jump in there in the live chat and talk to me. I talk back. I engage people from chat to camera. Just show me what y'all want to talk about, and we'll do it. Okay. And so, with all that being said, breaking news I saw just a little while ago. If you haven't heard, Spirit Airlines is going to be closing down. They applied to see if they can get a $500 million loan through the federal government, like one of those guaranteed loans. The government said no, so it looks like they're going to shut down. I know a lot of people don't like Spirit Air because there were no frills. It was like an engine with an airplane seat on them. But they did try to merge with Frontier a few years ago, and the Biden administration said no. So that might have been the death knell of Spirit. So you can blame it on President Autopin. Maybe you got to let him go. Let him go. I've lost the business, so I understand how that feels for the people that are owning it. But okay, so America 250 on May 2nd, because this is Friday, so I did May 1st this morning. On May 2nd, 1776, King Louis XVI approved the plan to supply weapons and powder and ammunition to the Continental government, the Continental Congress, in support of our revolution, right? And then we have, if y'all can see me online, well, let me go ahead and refresh here. Let me see. Yep, I am live. Okay, good. All right. So let's see. I read part of this morning. I'm going to read the second half in just a second. Hey, good. All right, Covite for Life made it to the chat. So we got one person in the chat. Let's get some more people out there. All right. And Ricky, before you ask, I did take a nap when I got home. All right. So here we go. All the above is foreign to what has occasioned my putting pen to paper and interrupting your labors for the public. 'Tis the greatest consequence of the continental currency be kept up. 'Tis, however, a fact that it is depreciating and that milled dollars are reckoning several percent better. The reason of this, I suppose, lies not in any want of confidence in the Congress, but the quantity that has been admitted to by making it plenty has produced this effect. This depreciation will occasion an advance upon all articles and thereby add greatly to the expense of the war. Will it not be therefore be expedient to borrow for the present year upon interest to receive the bills of payment and then make a fresh emission to the amount of that which is paid in? Hereby, the circulating bills will be prevented, increasing for the notes with interest will be hoarded up, or the emission of bills bearing interest, if that is thought best, will be the subject of the same fate. Your interest may be paid or may be payable a year hence. Sounds like a banker to me. But by that time the complexation of our affairs be settled. Crown lands unlocated, quit rents to the king, or his woods may be collateral security. By and by, before I get in, there are many fine, noble, large masts in Kennebec River designed for the British Navy. Would the French king buy them, though at a low price, and fetch them away? It might answer a very good purpose by proving a bone of our contention. Your time is so precious to be needlessly spent in reading long letters of little consequence. I feel therefore not to interrupt you longer than to assure that my best wishes for your prosperity, both temporal and spiritual, to request a kind of remembrance to those honorable gentlemen of the Congress with whom I have the happiness of being acquainted, our own delegates especially, and to declare myself an independent Whig, as was my namesake, William Gordon. And then it says, understand that our assembly are going to make the Continental Bills a legal tender by an act of general court. Should not other colonies do the like, and the bills depreciate as we shall, as the colony suffer greatly. And then about Boston, a number of inhabitants have engaged to work 2 days a week for 6 weeks in fortifying. I propose signing the paper to encourage by example. Tracy's vessel is arrived, or it should say Tracy's vessel has arrived, but it says Tracy's vessel is arrived at Kennebec immediately from Bordeaux with 21,000 pounds of powder, 12,000 pounds of sulfur, and 16 pieces of large cannon. Okay? And that was my 2-part letter from William Gordon to John Adams. All right. So, to help, we go to here, the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the Armament Shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top-tier gunsmithing and repairs, along with reloading, supplies, and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. You need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your concealed handgun license? Jason can handle those classes. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text at 254-560-2023, or reach them at www.armamentshop.com. That's armamentshop.com. All right. The Armament Shop, your safety, our priority. All right. Welcome back to the JP8 report. Now we have our Iran update. You know what? I might have to make a slide for that one too. Iran update, Operation Epic Fury. The ceasefire is still continuing. The president said they did receive some type of proposal, and the specifics in there was that he said is items that I cannot accept. That's what he just said when he was working a rope line just a second ago before he left for Florida. Iran will play in all FIFA games here in the United States, and that starts this month. Since operations began, the Israeli Defense Forces have found over 7,500 weapons in southern Lebanon. Iran threatens long and painful strikes on the U.S. Russia has been helping Iran. Admiral Cooper has briefed the president on options available for any further strikes. Bahrain warns Iran to stop interfering with its affairs. The United Arab Emirates travel ban has been issued in Iran, Lebanon, and Iraq, and it's telling all of its citizens to return back to the United Arab Emirates. The U.S. Embassy calls for direct talks between Israel and Lebanon. And then Trump considers reductions in force in Germany, in Spain, and in Italy. All right. Because those countries have been complacent and self-righteous in the views of what we have done for them over the last several decades. And when we needed them to help us, to help them, because it's closer for, if Iran developed a nuclear weapon, the range is shorter to get to Central Europe than it is for the range from Iran to the United States. So I guess they couldn't see the forest through the trees and decided to thumb their nose at the United States and do what they want. Maybe we should just move those soldiers and material and armaments to Poland, Slovakia, to Hungary, to Romania, and those Eastern European countries that are now NATO countries, and we reinforce the eastern flank of our alliance and just put minimum support inside those Central European countries. Sounds good to me. All right. So Brent crude oil, a while ago. I want to refresh on the Brent crude. Hold on just a second. Because I got the same thing earlier. No? It says, oh, you know what? I bet it's not trading today because it's May Day. Around the world, May 1st is like a holiday, right? But not here in the United States. I think that might be it because I'm getting the same pricing for Brent crude oil as I did earlier today. Let me refresh one more time. Yeah, it's still showing yesterday. Let's see, that doesn't make sense. I'll open up a new tab and see what it does to me. Hold on. Yeah, it's saying the same thing. That's weird. Well, here it is. Oh, it says $13.94. I do believe since it's May Day that there's no trading for the European markets. Okay, so be it. West Texas Intermediate is trading at $101.70 a barrel, and the stock market about an hour ago was trading up $47 and 13 to 49,699.27. All right, that's your Iran update. Let me get back to where I was at. All right. So the regular JP8 report. We are going to talk a little bit about May Day. May Day is an international socialist Labor Day type of, we have Labor Day in the United States. They have May Day around the world. Okay, May Day is constituted as being socialist and communist. And just look at the people in history. You got people like Stalin and Mao and Ho Chi Minh, um, Kim Il Sung. You just think about the hundreds of millions of human beings that have been extinguished off to the face of the earth for their failed priorities that they have instituted amongst our people. And should be reason enough that we should not pursue any type of government system like that at all, because it's a failed system, and we're built on history, on freedom as it is. Um, okay. So as I'm getting started on here, if you haven't clicked that like button or the follow button, please do so. Okay, and you're always welcome to get in the chat. My buddy retired Rob isn't in here. Huh. I should have called him before I got started. Okay, so some 600 groups, including hardline communists and groups affiliated with the Democrat Party, are mobilizing all over the country today to demonstrate for May Day, socialism's high holy day. See, what did I tell you? The Fox News digital investigation has identified a sprawling red-blue network with combined annual revenue of, hope you're sitting down, $2 billion, organizing some 3,000 protests and events and advancing what critics describe as an anti-American agenda. They have been calling for Americans to skip work, school, and shopping. At the center of the May Day mobilization, which has expanded from earlier indications into a network of communists, socialists, Marxists, and other far-left organizations led by chapters of the Democrat Socialists of America and a network of groups including the People's Forum and the Party of Socialism Liberation, Answer Coalition, Code Pink, and funded by an American-born tech tycoon named Neville Singham. I was going to mention his name because he's affiliated with the People's Forum and Code Pink, based in Shanghai, and promoting and propaganda of the Chinese Communist Party. We need some type of legislation to prevent foreign adversaries for investing and pushing their political ideologies in our country. We used to call that espionage, but I guess we don't do that no more. But that's something that needs to be happening. If you remember a few weeks ago, I did like a 5-part readout from Fox News about Mr. Singham and his organization along with Code Pink, and it is very scary of what they're proposing. There was another group called the Sunshine Group they had slides talking about how to protest and demonstrate in terms of causing a revolution in our country. All right, that is so disparaging that we are teaching our kids and young adults to destroy our country from within to allow that to happen. All right. The Communist Party USA has rallied workers to rise against MAGA on May Day, promoting leaflets by the People's World, a Marxist-Leninist publication. The Revolutionary Communist Party has put out a call to dismantle the capitalist imperialist system. The Maoist Communist Union has summoned members to join the anti-imperialist contingent at the New York City protests. The deeper concern, critics say, is that the pro-communist, pro-socialist network symbolizes the color of red, is promoting May Day events with traditionally blue organizations that make up the Democrat Party network, including nonprofits, Indivisible, MoveOn.org, an American Federation of Teachers, as well as at least 13 state and local chapters of the Democrat National Committee, along with the California Democrat Party. All right, so these organizations are all located in the United States of America. We fought a Cold War to prevent this from coming over here. And as soon as that Cold War was over, somehow we just closed our eyes and said, come on over, with no check and no balance at all. And we allow this stuff to happen under our noses, and we see and smell all of it. Man, it's crazy. Pictures. Let's see. The California Democrat Party is using pro-Democrat platform Mobilize.us to promote workers over billionaires May Day rally. I saw that this morning. I mentioned it to my wife. Well, without millionaires and billionaires, there wouldn't be no workers because people would not have the money to invest capital to get their businesses off the ground, if that makes any sense. Let's see here. The Democrat Party noted its largest state party in the nation with more than 10 million members. That's in California. All right. The Ohio Democrat Party Progressive Caucus, North Carolina's Young Democrats of Moore County, Young Democrats of Wisconsin, and Yuba County Democrat Central Committee are on the official list of organizers of the coalition May Day Strong, promoted online. In Ohio, the Licking County Democrats organization is hosting a May Day Strong protest at the courthouse in Newark, promoting the national event of mantra, no work, no school, no shopping. The groups didn't respond to requests for comment. Why would they? Man, they get more notoriety being out in the world demonstrating and protesting and destroying everything in sight. And what happens when we run out of money, which we already have, and we have no more money to give out? What happens at that point? Their organizations are going to collapse from within, or they're going to start a revolution. Meanwhile, local chapters of the Party for Socialism and Liberation are openly communist group in the Singham Network. That's Neville Singham. Organized art build projects across the country, including D.C., Chicago, to build May Day signs at its liberation centers located in 25 metropolitan U.S. cities. Members shuttled inside, painting banners and readying for their protest gear. The increasing willingness of mainstream Democrats to align with extremist socialist groups is a major factor in why the Democrat Party is losing the center more and more, and why lifelong Democrats find themselves feeling politically homeless. Democrat strategist Melissa DeRosa said, one I would like to add to that one thing is that if mainstream older Democrats are feeling more and more isolated because the party left them, why are they still Democrats and why have they not shifted over to become independent or even Republicans? That's a good question to ask. Hey, I got Rob here. Good, cool. Welcome, Rob. I appreciate it. You missed a good breakfast this morning, a little text. Ask Ricky here; he'll tell you. It was fun. And onward back to this. You know what? Let's talk about good things, okay? We talked enough about these communists, and it's taken about 10 minutes of my time so far. Look, we have a fight on our hands, and the only way we're going to defeat this fight on our hands is to get out to the ballot box and keep voting Republicans in. I don't care how bad you think that Republican is. Like here in Texas, we have a brutal Senate campaign runoff going on between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton. Tell you right now, I'm a Ken Paxton guy. I know he's not perfect. I think he's going to be a great senator. It's time for a change, right? But I'm telling you, whether you're John Cornyn, oh my goodness, man. That was a lightning strike over by the house. Wow. Um, okay. So no matter what, regardless if you're a John Cornyn fan or a Ken Paxton fan, whichever one wins the nomination on May 26th, it is our responsibility to make sure he gets in office. You have to go vote for that winner. You cannot let James Tellerico become senator from the state of Texas at all. Don't let your guard down. Don't say, oh, all those Ken Paxton fans, they're going to come out there and vote. We're going to need more than Ken Paxton fans to get out there and defeat James Tellerico. We have to do it together, no matter what. And that goes the same with any other person that's got a Republicans on their ticket in a contested primary or whatsoever, even if they're unopposed. You got to get out there and vote for them either on May 26th or November when we have the general election, okay? All right. Enough of that. Was that clear as mud, guys? Give me some input on here. All right. Thank y'all for the American flags and the Texas flags. All right, so next. The government is finally fully funded except for portions of ICE and CBP. Yesterday, the president signed the not the continuing resolution, but the budget bill by voice acclamation to fully fund the federal government. It ended a 75-day shutdown, the longest in American history. And all that's left is two portions of the government. That's, like I said, ICE and CBP, and they're doing a second reconciliation bill. They're going to have it on the desk of the president before the 1st of June, allegedly. Okay, we shall see if that really actually happens. All right. So Congress took a major step forward, ending the record-breaking Department of Homeland Security shutdown on Thursday. Oh, wow. I just got invited to a watch party in Gatesville on the 26th at the Gatesville Country Club. Oh, wow. Cool. Okay. One of the candidates just invited me to a watch party on May 26th. That's cool. All right. Hey Rob, I'll let you and Richard know about that after the show. I'll tell you all tomorrow morning. All right. So where was I at? The House of Representatives unanimously approved a Senate-passed bill spending measure covering most of the department appropriations through September. The vote came after DHS funding measure had stalled in the lower chamber for more than a month after the speaker declined to put the bill on the floor over objections to language he said defunded law enforcement. The speaker's opposition reflected the views of many in his conference who viewed the bill as a dead letter when the Senate passed it unanimously in March. They had unanimous consent. Everybody was gone. Johnson changed course this week after the White House appeared to side with the Senate and urged swift package of the upper chamber's bill. We're not defying the White House, Johnson told reporters on Wednesday. Everyone understands what we're doing. We're all one team. In an internal memo sent to the House offices and obtained by Fox, the White House warned it would not be able to pay employees starting in May if the House did not pass the Senate's partial DHS bill. The administration since early April has been using existing funds to cover 6 weeks of back pay and a new pay period for DHS employees, but warned that the money was quickly depleting. If this funding is exhausted, the administration is unable to pay DHS in May and will once again unleash havoc on air travel, critical law enforcement officers, including our brave Secret Service agents and Coast Guard, without paychecks and jeopardize national security, the memo said. Uh, some Republicans argue that the failure to move the Senate's DHS bill prior to leaving Washington for a planned recess was untenable. We've got to fund DHS, even if it's 80% of DHS, said Nick Langworthy of New York, his Republican New York. We're in a dangerous position with funding levels right now. We have to get this done before we even think about leaving on a recess. They just came back to work. Why are they already going back on vacation? Langworthy sent a letter obtained by Fox News to the Speaker early this week, imploring the Speaker to put the Senate's bill up for a vote. What other avenue to approach are you having? Troy Niels from Texas, Republican, said on whether the House would take up the Senate's languishing DHS bill. This is hurting families of individuals who are willing to serve their communities, their nation, and their state. Why wouldn't we? And the Democrats cannot stand what this is going on, but they lost anyway, and the president's going to sign it. I found the one I was looking for, so I'm going to set this aside. All right, so next is Section 702 of the Patriot Act. Okay, Section 702 is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which is scheduled to sunset yesterday. All right, before it sunsetted yesterday, they went to the House and to the Senate and came up with an extension for it for 45 days until the middle of June. Now, some of y'all, like me, I can't stand Section 702 because it bypasses the Fourth and Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. We have a Constitution for a reason. I preach this day in and day out to anyone that will listen to me, that the Constitution is the first and foremost defense of our country. Outside of the Bible, the Constitution is the most important document in our country. It is not to be interpreted as with international law. It is to be interpreted as written, right? If you don't like what the Constitution says, make a constitutional amendment that'll support your viewpoint. We've only had one rescinded, but we've had 27 constitutional amendments, technically 26 since one got repealed. We have 27 constitutional amendments, and we have the Constitution. And until you can absolutely assure that American freedoms are protected in a law, it should not be passed whatsoever. There has to be complete assurance. We cannot have where, like in 2017, less than a month, less than 2 weeks, maybe less than a week after President Trump was sworn in, Michael Flynn was being questioned by 2 FBI agents that did not read him his rights and didn't produce a warrant. And they knowingly entrapped him into lying and checking his integrity on matters that didn't even apply to the president and ended up being a lie. And he ended up without a job because he was going to be the national security advisor for the president. 10 days later, he's gone. This is stupid. It should have never happened. We need safeguards in our system to prevent it from ever happening again. We have enough law enforcement in our country to protect us. We need to ensure that the Constitution, I said this morning, and I know I'm going on a tangent right here, right? The Constitution and the amendments are there to protect us from the government. There's nothing in that Constitution that protects the government from us. All rights are to protect us from an over-exerting government. That, oh, man. Okay. So, like Paulina Luna and Lauren Boebert and several other Republicans out there, this needs, even Chip Roy. I'm not a Chip Roy fan at all. I'm voting for Mays Middleton for Attorney General of Texas. But this is, Chip Roy has this right. This is an overextended effort to subvert the freedoms of Americans, and it needs to be reformed. Totally. All right? So let me give you a rundown of what they tried to tell us in the news. All right? All right. If you're proud to be an American, put an American flag in that. And I got Rob and Ricky both putting flags up here and stuff. I guess I'm doing something right. I think. Maybe they're making me feel better. Congress punted a long-term fix because they were going to try to do a 3-year fix to the 702. Congress punted a long-term fix for a controversial SPA law for a second time in a month as lawmakers race to avoid a lapse in the government's warrantless surveillance powers set to expire Friday at midnight. Both chambers approved a 45-day extension for Section 702 of the FISA Act before leaving Washington on Thursday, allowing lawmakers more time to negotiate reforms to the hotly contested program. President Trump, who wants a clean extension of the surveillance program, is expected to sign the measure into law. The Senate first agreed. Hold on just a second. Sports stuff. Okay. The Senate first agreed to extend the law to mid-June by voice vote, which was quickly followed by the House Representatives clearing to extension measure by a bipartisan measure. The Speaker said his leadership team argued the spy authority was too critical to lapse. We can't have FISA go dark. That was from Steve Scalise. The bicameral agreement, which means Senate and House, for a short-term fix came after the Senate swiftly rejected the House extending the 702 program for 3 years. The lower chamber's measure, including modest reforms to the program and a permanent ban on essential bank digital currencies, and a priority conservatives associated with the House Freedom Caucus. There's no reason why we should have a pure digital banking system. But the inclusion of that provision was a non-starter for the Senate, and so they revised it, did the voice vote, sent it back, and then the House signed it. Okay. More than 24 GOP privacy hawks voted against the Senate-passed measure. The group sharply criticized the Senate for squashing the House proposal and argued the upper chamber was trying to jam them with a clean extension, including none of their reforms. The House needs to stand strong, send back and say, we won't accept that. That's from Keith Self from Texas. He's a Republican congressman from the McKinney area. That's northeast of Dallas. He said, you need to have a warrant or CBCD on it. I don't know what CBDC means. Everything we did yesterday, the Senate says we won't take. The Texas Republican added, what the Senate thinks of, this is what the Senate thinks of the House. The process in the upper chamber was clearly derailed by Democrat Senator Ron Wyden announced that he planned to block the Senate's alternative plan in favor of a shorter 3-week extension. One of the few horseshoe issues in Congress that blends of Republicans and conservatives and Democrats is a push for stronger privacy protections, and that's because Section 702 spying powers, which allows the government to spy on foreign nationals abroad. However, noting that the law prevents it from collecting data on Americans is if they happen to be involved in those communications. To stop that, Wyden and others are demanding warrant requirements to add layer of protections for Americans whose conversations are ensnared under 702. Even though Wyden is a Democrat, I fully support that measure. Totally. You must have a Fourth Amendment warrant, no matter what. The House version lacked that reform, but Wyden agreed to an extension after working with Tom Cotton and Mark Warner, the top lawmakers of the Senate Intelligence Panel, to send a letter to the Department Director of National Intelligence, that'd be Tulsi Gabbard from Leander, Texas, and the Acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, to declassify a FISA court ruling to show how the program is being used against Americans. Oh, I would really like to see that. Meanwhile, conversations on reforms are still going. Senator Thune, the Rhino, said there is already a pretty substantial dialogue between Cotton, Warner, their House counterparts, and the White House to address reforms while ensuring that the program works. And we're entertaining those ideas at the moment, and we'll see if where that conversation goes. We've got 45 days. I don't like kicking the can down the road. Not my jam. Unless you are the Save America Act, Mr. Senator, and you're kicking that can way down the road because you won't pass that bill. All right? Even though Americans want it. All right. So, Rob and Ricky, what do y'all think about, should they require, I'm asking them because they're in the chat, what is y'all's view of having warrants for any time there's they want to surveil against Americans or even foreigners? Let me know what y'all think. All right, I'm going to go to the next article. So here we have is, when you run for office, there's no guarantee that you're going to get elected. Okay. And running for office is not easy. It's not the faint of hearted, right? Sometimes always, there's always going to be just one winner. No matter what you do in life, there's always one winner and a whole bunch of losers. Totally. Whether you're a Democrat or whether you're a Republican, there's always going to be one winner and a whole bunch of losers. You may spend a lot of money and you lose, but that's part of the game. That's why you get donors to help fund your campaign. Well, in Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar is running for governor on the Democrat side, right? And on the Republican side, you have Kristen Robbins. Amy Klobuchar is a very popular Democrat, right? But it's all about the campaign. You have to know what you're doing to win your race, right? And then, so Kristen Robbins, either the day or this morning, she announced that she does not see a viable point to continue in her campaign as a Republican to defeat Amy Klobuchar, so she stopped her campaign. So we might have had a chance to defeat a Democrat, or we could have kept it competitive and made the Democrats spend more money to prevent all that extra money being shifted to another campaign. So she decided she didn't want to continue on. So it says here, Minnesota Republican lawmaker Kristen Robbins, chair of the House Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Committee, announced on Friday she's ending her gubernatorial campaign to replace Governor Tim Walz. It was not a tough decision to get in. It was not a tough decision to get in the race 10 months ago. We could not allow Tim Walz to serve a third term in Minnesota. He's destroyed our state, and we had to force him or so. I think I made a great case for that, and because of that, my work on the fraud committee, he got out 9 months ahead of schedule, which is great. Robbins continued, once Senator Klobuchar became sort of an anointed candidate to replace him, I just think the establishment kind of encircled the wagons, and it became a challenging endeavor, and I'm a realist. I'm a numbers person, and when I look at the math, I don't see a path for me to win. Weeks after Walz dropped re-election bid in January amid a massive fraud scandal that unfolded during his watch, Amy Klobuchar jumped into the race, bringing her deep political backing and name recognition with her as a presumptive nominee for the Democrats. Robbins told Fox News she determined it was better to bow out and find a new way to contribute due to the love of her state and the realization that there are many ways to serve. In terms of what's next, Robbins says she hasn't had the time to give much thought, but she is focused on closing out the current legislative session and said there's a lot of things going on in the front committee. A loser. Flat out loser. She committed to join the campaign to become governor. The race is to become governor. The race was not to defeat Tim Walz. Tim Walz is not a political position. The governorship of Minnesota is a political position. You run to attain and show the populace in that state you're the better person for that job. You run to get elected. You're not running against another person. You're running to win your race. You make that person, whoever it is, Amy Klobuchar, Tim Walz, Mickey Mouse, it does not matter at this point. You run to win your race, and you make the others race against you. You don't race against them. That's the wrong thing. She was the wrong person to run for governor. They could do better. They're dynamite. Michelle Tafoya, she's running for Senate. She is giving, I forgot the name of that one person that's running, the lieutenant governor is running for Senate, okay? She's going to give her a run for her money and may even win, but she's got a campaign to run for the Senate. She's not running against the other lady that dresses in a abaya to appease the Somalis in Minnesota. See, I already know about her. I can't remember her name. I don't really care. I just want her beat. I want Tafoya to be the senator from Minnesota. Like I wanted Miss Robbins to become governor of Minnesota. I didn't want her to drop out. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. All right, next. This one even gets better. Okay? And I'm going to need y'all to, I talked about this earlier. Just so you know, Nicole Sapphire from Fox News got nominated by the president yesterday to be the Surgeon General of the United States. She's going to be a very, very good Surgeon General. All right. In other political news, Maine Governor Janet Mills suspended her Senate campaign to Graham Plattner. Susan Collins, the rhino from Maine, is running for re-election, at least for one more time, right? And she was anticipated running against Janet Mills. I mean, Janet Mills is supposed to run against her for the Senate position, right? Susan Collins has enough support that she should win. Janet Mills has this, she was running against this guy that had a Nazi cross on his chest, right? And he called himself a communist. And this is like from 15 years ago. Last October, he said he was a communist, right? And I couldn't find the quote. It was on a deleted, hold on just a second. All right. So Mr. Oyster Farmer, Graham Plattner, is going to be the Democrat nominee because Janet Mills suspended her campaign, okay? So if you're a Republican in Maine, you need to get out there and make sure you vote for Susan Collins when it comes time for the general election. All right, so Maine Governor Janet Mills announced Thursday she is suspending her campaign for the Senate, citing a lack of financial resources and clearing a way for military veteran and oyster farmer Graham Plattner in a Democrat primary ahead of a general election against Senator Susan Collins. While I have the drive and passion, commitment, and experience above all else to fight to continue on, I simply don't have the one thing the political campaigns unfortunately require today, the financial resources. That is why today I have made an incredibly difficult decision to suspend my campaign for the United States Senate. Then it says, Senate Democrats have touted Mills as a top recruit to take on Collins, who is the only Republican senator representing a state that Donald Trump lost last year. Maine is practically a must-win if Democrats are to net 4 seats they need to take over the chamber in midterm elections. They're not going to do it in the first place. Collins has proven a tough opponent in previous elections. After launching her Senate campaign in October, Mills struggled to gain traction against Plattner, who burst on the scene as a brash political newcomer and quickly built a loyal following. Plattner notched the endorsements of high-profile progressive leaders like Senator Bernie Sanders and Senator Pocahontas. I said Pocahontas. The article said Senator Elizabeth Warren. More importantly, he built the support among Maine Democrats, leading to double digits in recent polls of the primary. Plattner's rise and the governor's struggles came directly despite top Democrats' preference for Mills, turning his campaign into a rare rebuke of party leaders and top-tier. He may still lose. No, he will lose in November. Let's put it like that. Mills was backed by Chucky Schumer, and who viewed her as a party. When Mills was backed by Chucky Schumer, Schumer and Kristen Gillibrand did not reference Plattner in a joint statement on Mills' departure from the race, and she didn't even endorse Plattner herself as she exited the race. Wow. Janet Mills is 78. Wow. Okay. Let's see. I am looking for the part that, let's see, Mills has argued, he's make Plattner vulnerable to GOP attacks. Plattner was a prolific commenter on Reddit, making statements downplaying sexual assault, criticizing the police and rural Americans. An Army and Marine veteran, Plattner attributed the post to his struggles with PTSD after serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. He said the controversy strengthened his campaign. Mills highlighted Plattner's comments downplaying sexual assault in her first ads attacking him, with her allies suggesting his comments would turn off female voters. But Mills' campaign largely stopped airing TV ads in March, according to Ad Impact, because she ran out of money. Republicans have already begun to attack Plattner as he pulled ahead in the primary. The GOP PAC, Pine Tree Results PAC, launched an ad on Monday highlighting the controversial social media post and Plattner having a tattoo that resembled a Nazi symbol. Plattner said he was not aware of the Nazi connection and has since covered up the tattoo. Yeah, all right, sure. Tim Scott, Republican from South Carolina, said in a statement, Chucky Schumer and Senate Democrats just coronated a phony who is too extreme for Maine. Susan Collins has always put in the work for her constituents and delivered. Washington Democrats fall short in Maine and will again because they just nominated a dishonest radical. In a statement on Thursday, Plattner said Janet Mills has dedicated her career to a beautiful state, and we are eternally grateful for her service. In a recent interview in May, before she dropped out, NBC News asked Mills whether she would endorse Plattner in the general election if he won the nomination. She said, I've always been a Democrat. I've always supported the Democratic candidate. Collins told reporters at the U.S. Capitol, I'm sure this is a very difficult decision for Governor Mills, and I wish her well. She has devoted her life to public service in the state of Maine in many different capacities. And it does not say anything else. I encourage you to look up quotes from Graham Plattner, right? And it's spelled Platner. He said last October that he is a communist, and as soon as he gets elected, he's going to tear down the system. That's what he said, flat out. All right. All right. So then onward, some other news of the day. Senate Majority Leader Tom Thune resists pressure to reform chamber rules to pass legislation without Democrat support. Some fellow Republicans in the House are ramping up their efforts to make the upper chamber advance the Trump agenda. At present, the Senate filibuster effectively requires 60 votes for legislation to advance, making the passage of marquee legislation more difficult. We only have 53 votes. We need 60. My suggestion is they move cloture from 60 down to 51. All right. Republicans and Democrats alike for years bemoaned their inability to advance key priorities under the current system. And now midterm are fast approaching, with the Republicans having little to show for the time in the majority. Some lawmakers want to go on the offense, particularly to pass the Save America Act, a voter ID bill that has strong support among Republican base and the majority of Americans. I hope that the Senate will consider taking up reconciliation and doing a comprehensive reconciliation package, and yes, the Save America Act. This congressman does not understand in reconciliation, you only can put budgetary issues in there, not policy. Oh, retired Rob had to leave. All right. So We'll go with that. I am pretty much out of time, ain't I? Justice Department, Harmy Dillon said that the Justice Department will enforce the Supreme Court ruling about redistricting gerrymandered districts. I would suggest that if she would like to do that, I noticed last night someone put up a map of Illinois and the 13th congressional district and the 17th congressional district look like crescent moons. So I would highly encourage the Justice Department to look at those congressional districts in Illinois also. All right. I don't know. Some of this stuff I could wait till Monday morning and start going over it again. Okay. So we'll call it a day. Thank y'all very much for tuning in. So tomorrow matter of fact, I'm picking up Retired Rob 53 and I'm picking up Covite for Life. We are going to go to the Coryell County Republican Party runoff candidates meet and greet. It starts at 11, it goes to 1, and we have a very short Coryell County Republican Party meeting right after that at 1 o'clock. And but that's all the runoff candidates from Commissioner's Court Precinct 2 and Precinct 4 and the county judge race. All 6 of them should be there tomorrow. And then we're going to do the same thing on the 12th of May, right? With the Coppers Cove Conservative Club and the Coryell County Republican Party. We're going to be at Giovanni's on the 12th of May at Giovanni's at 6 p.m. And we're going to be with the same candidates, where this time we're going to be in Coppers Cove instead of Gatesville. And so we'll be able to give a good mix of people from both areas of Coryell County. Also, tomorrow is Municipal Election Day in Bell County, and in a different place for the school board races. Polls on tomorrow will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then for, like I was talking about, the runoff, early voting for the runoff is rapidly approaching. So the Republican runoff early vote is 18th to the 22nd of May. And then the runoff day is May 26th. Get out there and do your early vote, because that's a long weekend, and Memorial Day is the 25th of May. So we need to make that happen, all right? Any last minute questions, concerns, moans, groans, complaints? I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'll see Ricky and I'll see Rob tomorrow morning. I'm probably going to give them a call to coordinate. I thank y'all very much for persevering with me. Remember, I'm also on the Rumble Creator Program, so I need some chatters. I'm going to start doing Rumble Premiums next week, and then we got some stuff we're doing, okay? But thank y'all very much for allowing me to come into y'all's homes today, all right? And then, so this is James Pierce with the JP8 Report. I will catch you on the flip side. I'm out.